Hello everyone, this is Stephanie. Welcome to another video. So today we're going to work on this right angle weave cross pendant. This pendant is so easy to make, takes no time at all. It's using all 4mm fire polish beads and 4mm pearls or druks. So go into your stash if you're a dollar bead box person. You have everything to make this. So this one I used a chain made out of a beaded chain, and this is from the face mask holder video. I'll link that one down below. And these two I used ribbons. This ribbon is actually from one of the dollar bead boxes. All the fire polish beads are from the dollar bead bag. We've got some 11-0s. This chain is from the Eureka Crystal Beads latest collection. We got this chain in it, and it's perfect. On a couple of them I used a manufactured bail, and I'll show you how to do that. And then what we're going to do on the video, take more time on the video to do, is this beaded bail, which is a herringbone bail. I also did a little embellishment on this one around, some of the beads on the outside, and this one, which I'll get you started on as well. That was sort of an afterthought, but I kind of liked it. So, you'll get instruction on how to do, all the different types of bail embellishment in the video. Okay, all right, so I'm going to clear this off, get a materials list going, and we're going to get started. Okay, let's get a materials list going. So you'll need some 4mm fire polish beads. You need some O beads. And all right, before you ask me what you can substitute for an O bead, I would highly recommend you get some O beads because they're such a perfect fit here. I have maybe 2 tubes of O beads, one in a sort of a gold. This is that ancient gold color. I love this. It's kind of a matte. And I have a silvery color. And I just keep them in my stash for those moments when you need just that perfect little bead, and I think this works really well. You can use an 11-0 or maybe a Toho demi round 8-0. It's not going to look the same, but I think you could probably, work it out so you can use that as well. But get you a few O beads. Next order, just throw a couple of tubes in. Okay, 4mm pearl or druk. Here's a druk, here's a pearl. If you are doing this bail, the the metal bail, you'll need maybe two 3mm pearls, or you can use an 8-0, whatever you want, but I used a pearl. You'll need some 11-0 seed beads. I have a little stop bead. You need any kind of chain. So I have this, a beaded chain here, or a ribbon. I love the ribbon. It's so pretty as a choker. Got a size 10 beading needle. I have some 8-pound Fireline black satin. I will find a link for this bail for you and put it in the description box below the video, as well as all the beads, everything I've used to make them, color, sizes, shapes, amounts will be in the description box below the video. So for those of you who don't know, click the down arrow, it's down there somewhere, or the show more. The box will open and everything will be listed right there. Don't forget my Ringberries mat. This is that big blue mat, this big mat that I use all the time. 10% off coupon code Bronzepony10. Use that code. Get some, get some bucks in your pocket. And this is the No More Oops. This is the Ringberries mat. This is the No More Oops bead tray. This is the mini one. Isn't that cute? So that'll be down there as well. So let's get started. So thread your needle with about 3 feet of thread. Put on a stop bead and leave about a 15-16 inch tail. I want to use that tail. So I've picked up and dropped down to my stop bead, 1 O bead, 1 4mm fire polish, an O, a 4mm fire polish, an O, a 4mm fire polish, an O, and a 4mm fire polish. So we have 4 O beads, 4 4mm fire polish beads, starting with an O, ending with a fire polish. I'm going to drop those down to my stop bead, and I'm going to sew those into a circle by going through all the beads again. So the first bead after the stop bead, like that, and then I'm going to go all the way around past my stop bead again. Like that. And I want to come out one of the fire polish. Now, before we go on with this, notice how the O beads are kind of a little bit wonky. you want to make sure all your O beads are sitting nicely in between your fire polish. So give everybody a pull. This one will pull a little bit, so we pull both ends of the thread, and you want to pop those in, and they will pop in beautifully. Just, just keep giving it a little yank like that. So you want that, you want all your O beads and your fire polish beads or pearls to be sitting just like this. Okay, and we're going to make sure you do that on every unit. All right, so now we're going to add on another unit. So we're going to pick up an O bead, a fire polish, an O bead, a fire polish, an O bead, a fire polish, and an O bead. So we're doing right angle weave. So we have 4 O beads on and 3 fire polish in between them. Okay, so we're exiting here. We're going to sew through the other side of the bead we're exiting. Now I'm going to sew all the way around the unit again. So through the O bead and the fire polish, making sure that all those O beads are popping right in. See how nicely they're sitting? So I'm going to go around the entire unit again. It just tightens everybody up nicely. So just going through all the beads. Like that. There. And I want to end up coming out of this side bead. So I'm just moving my thread around. Like that. I'm giving a pull and I'm pushing the O beads inward so that they're all sitting beautifully. So see how nice that they're all sitting? So if they're popping out, push them in. They'll sort of lock into place. Give it a pull. All right, so now you're going to repeat this 2 more times till you have 4 units on. And then come on back and we'll compare back. So here's my 4 units. So here, this is where I am. I'm just going to put this thread aside. I'm going to actually leave the needle on it, and I'm going to take the stop bead off and thread a needle with the tail thread. Now I'm just going to move my piece around this way because it's easier for me to sew. So here's where I've taken off my stop bead, threaded a needle. So I'm exiting that O bead right here. So I want to move my thread over here to put these 2 units on. So I'm just going to sew through this fire polish bead, and that's going to kind of pop that O bead into place a little better too. See, just like that. I'm going to sew through this O bead and this fire polish. Through this O bead and this fire polish bead. So that's exactly where I want my thread. So let me just get through and I'll move my thumb. This is what I have. Now I'm going to pick up an O, a fire polish, an O bead, a fire polish bead, an O bead, a fire polish bead, and an O bead. Let me just move this a little bit like that. I'm exiting here. I'm going to sew through the other side of the bead I'm exiting. Like that. Now I'm sewing all the way around, making sure my O beads are nicely seated. There. Just go around the unit like that. Through this one. So now I've completed my thread around the unit. I'm pulling it so all the O beads sit nicely. Now I need to get over here. So I'm exiting here. I'm going to sew through this O bead and this fire polish. So I'm just using the unit to turn around like that. And then through this O bead and this fire polish bead. So now I've just moved my thread over here so I can add another unit on this side. So pick up an O, a fire polish, an O bead, a fire polish, an O bead, a fire polish, and an O bead. Try that again. An O bead, a fire polish, an O bead, a fire polish, an O bead, a fire polish, and an O bead. Now we're there. Now we're on track. Okay. We're exiting here. We're just going to sew through the other side of the bead we're exiting. again, we're going to reinforce. So sew through all the beads, like that. Through these. Just going completely around the unit, making sure my O beads are sitting nicely in between my fire polish beads by giving it a pull. Now I'm just going to keep going until I exit this fire polish bead. There. Through the O bead, the fire polish, and now I'm where I want to be. So here I have it, it's completed right now, so we're going to embellish. It's even pretty this way. So just make sure that all your O beads are sitting nicely. This looks pretty good to me. So get to this point and then come on back and we'll start embellishing. Okay, so I have both my threads. So I'll just stick with this thread. It doesn't really matter which way we go to embellish at this point. We're really going to be doing the same thing and you'll see as we go along. So here I'm exiting the bottom of this fire polish bead. I'm just going to pick up my pearl. If I can get it. There we go. Exiting the bottom here. I'm just going to go to the fire polish directly on the other side and go through the top of that fire polish bead. It puts it on diagonally and locks it into place. Okay, so just like that. And pull. Exiting the bottom of this fire polish, going to pick up a pearl. So exiting right here, just going to go to the one on the other side and sew through that one from the top down, like that. Again, here, exiting here, going to sew through this one, pop that into place. So we have, so get that done and then come on back and we'll go up. Alright, so here I have my other thread. It's coming out of this bead right here. I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other with the this part. So exiting here. Coming out of the bottom of this fire polish, I'm going to go through the top of this one. So you just want to make sure it's on the diagonal so it blocks it into place. Going to pick up another pearl. Exiting here. I'm going to sew through the top of this one. That's directly across. And you might need to just hold it to get it into place. Like that. And now we have one here already, so I'm just going to work around this unit so I can get over to this bead. So here I'm exiting right here. I'm going to sew through the O bead right next to that bead. Might have to bend it over a little bit to get in there, just like that. Through the fire polish. Through the next O bead. So I'm just using that unit to get my thread to the other side. And then through this fire polish. Right here. So it looks like I'm going to take a pearl, exiting here out of the top. I'm just going to go through the bottom on this one. Just want to do the opposite so that it locks it into place. All right, so this is what I have. So I'm all done with my embellishment. All right, so just get that done and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So we want to do the clasps now. So I want to show you, we're going to do, of course, the beaded one. So that herringbone bail. But I want to show you if you happen to use one of these, of course I don't have the same color, but I want to show you how I put it on. So regardless of how you do it, I've just put, so this is where my thread is at the moment. So I had put this pearl on right here. So I don't want to put the bail on unless I've reinforced this unit because I don't want this pearl to pull like that. So I'm exiting here. I'm just going to move my needle around the unit and come out the same bead, but I just want to secure that pearl a little bit. So I'm just going to go around the unit like that. Like that. Just going to exit the same bead I was exiting, and that's just going to make sure that the pearl is going to stay there. It's not going to get loose. So just like that. So I've just gone around the unit, come out the same way. So I'm just, at this point, I'm going to pick up a 3mm, the clasp, or the bail, and the 3mm. I'm not going to secure it, but I just want to show you how to do this if you're doing it, you know, this way. And then I just put it on like that. And then I went around and I sewed in my threads, and that's very simply how I put the clasp on. All right, so if you're doing that, then sew around, sew your threads in, and then come on back and we'll work on the herringbone bail. Okay, we're back, so let's work on the herringbone bail. Just going to pull out a touch. So I'm exiting the same place, this fire polished bead up here. I've reinforced by going all the way around, coming out in the same place. My purl is nice and secure. I'm going to pick up 4 of my 11-ohs. I'm just going to sew through the other side of the fire polish bead just like that. Then I'm going to sew up through the next 2. I'm going to pick up 2 11-ohs. I'm going to sew down through the next 2. Like that. And then I'm going to go sew through the fire polish bead, just setting up, and then up these 3. Giving that a pull. Now I'm set up to put more beads on. So just get to that point and then come on back and we'll continue. Okay, we're back. So we're going to do some herringbone now. I'm going to pick up 2 11-ohs. I'm going to sew down 1 bead on the other side. Like that. Those go into place. And I'm going to sew up through these 2 on the other side. The thread actually kind of tells you where to go. Just pull it this way and you can see. It tells your needle where to go. Like that. Pick up 2 11-ohs, sew down 1 on that side, and up 2 on this side. Pull, keep going. Down 1 on this side, up 2 on this side. Gonna keep doing that. So you have, I think I did 16 stitches, herringbone stitches, and it made a nice big round bail here. So get that done and then come on back and we'll attach it to the other side. Okay, we're back. So I have my 16 herringbone stitches on, so it's a total of 16, but you really could make it as big or small as you want. I'm just going to turn it around to the other side. So exiting this bead right here, I'm going to pick up 2 11-oh seed beads. So exiting here, I'm just going to sew right through the fire polish bead here. Then I'm going to turn it. I'm going to turn it sort of this way. I'm going to pick up 2 11-ohs, and I'm going to sew up through a few of the beads on this side. So here I've put these 2 on this side, come through the fire polish, going up a few here. When I pull, that's what happens. So I'm going to reverse direction and come down all these beads again. So all the beads right here. So here, exiting this little seed bead, I went to the other side, sewing down through all the seed beads, sewing back through the fire polish bead, back up again on this side. I mean, just a number of beads. It doesn't really matter how many. So just see how that secured it. It made a nice V on the back. I've got a nice round bail here, and it looks pretty on the front as well. So all you're going to do at this point is you can sew back down. See, did I mess that up? No, I did. Okay. You can go back down again, sew through this bead, and then just do a few half-hitch knots around and clip your thread off. All right, so get that done and come on back, and we'll finish up. Okay, we're back. So here I put it on the chain. I sewed in the thread that I had left over on one side. And now I just want to talk you through or get you started on embellishing the outside beads if you want to do that. So I've threaded a needle with about 16 inches of thread. I'm going to sew through, I put on a stop bead about in the middle. so I'm starting at the bottom, I'm going to sew through this fire polish bead like that, and the O bead, like that. Probably should have left it off the chain. And I'm going to pick up 6 of my 11 O's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 for the fire polish beads. If you're using pearls, I think 5 fits with the pearls because they're a little rounder. All right, so I'm exiting this O bead right here. I'm going to sew through this O bead and up through this fire polish bead, like that. That's going to surround my bottom bead. Now all I'm going to do, I'm not going to do it on camera, but all I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to just maneuver my way through these units until I get to these side beads with this thread and this side bead with the other thread. So I'm going to use both threads. Of course, take that stop bead off. So I'm going to work my way, just like we've been doing, sewing around the units till I end up coming out of this O bead over here that's next to this fire polish on this side, and this O bead that's next to this fire polish. So work your way around, just use the units to move your thread around, put on those beads, and then come on back and we'll finish up. Okay, we're back. So here it is finished with the embellishment, and I'm kind of liking it that way. So I mean, both ways. It's pretty both ways, but I like it this way. And it was really easy for me to sort of, use my right angle weave units just to get to the spaces where I'm going to put the embellishment around the edges. So I'm sure there's a way to do it as you're creating the piece, but I didn't think of it until after, so I just put it on after. So play with that and see if you can come up with a better way of doing it, but it worked out pretty well this way. All right, so here you go. Here's your cross pendant. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care.